Alrighty, today we're going to talk about how to create a front-end bridge, and this is going to be the exact SOP that I'm going to train my team with on how to create a front-end bridge in general. So you're getting an exclusive look at the same information that I'm going to be providing my team with. So I'm going to hold nothing back. I'm going to put everything I know about building a front-end bridge into this presentation. Let's see how it goes. So first, let's start off with some background information. You might not have watched any of my videos before. You might have no idea what bridge marketing is, but if you don't know what bridge marketing is, it's simply a way to sell any offer to any audience, and building a front end bridge is a core part of bridge marketing. I have a full hour-long training available about bridge marketing in the description if you want to check that out. So to answer the question of what is a front-end bridge, it's simply a mechanism that grabs your audience's attention, provides them with free value, and directs them to an offer of some sort. Typically, a front-end bridge is a lead magnet, a sales page, or even just a reel or a story. It can be just the messaging itself, the way that you write the copy, the way that the words come out of your mouth, the way that you word your script, what have you. A lot of those things can be front end bridges. But typically, the main one is going to be a lead magnet. And for the purpose of today's presentation and SOP, we're going to be talking about the lead magnet side of it specifically and some other formats later in this presentation. The goal of a front end bridge is to help your audience relate to the offer you're trying to promote to them by using audience specific messaging rather than mass messaging. And that's the key. Again, like you need to make sure that the messaging that you're using is very specific to the audience that you're promoting the offer to and not just meant for the mass market and multiple different audiences. The point of bridge marketing is to make it audience specific. And then lastly, like I said earlier, a front end bridge is a critical part of bridge marketing. It's the first part that the user is going to interact with, and it's the first part that you should learn about and know how to build. Because without a good front end bridge, your audience will never see your back end bridge and they'll never buy your offers because that's the only way to get your back end bridge. But that's for another video. Or again, if you want to check out that monetization training in the description, that will explain what a back end bridge is as well. So what's included in a front end bridge, right? The first part of it is typically a free niche specific offer. You want to build a free offer of some sort that your audience will love that also relates to the core offer that you're promoting. The goal of this free offer on the front end is to provide value first and foremost, get results for the user, and or get them to experience some sort of aha moment, like I didn't know that before, now I feel empowered, to do what I wanted to do by getting this free offer in the first place. Just think of any good lead magnet that you've ever downloaded in the past. Why did you download it? The main reason is probably to get some sort of value out of it, most likely to get some sort of result that you couldn't get without the free offer. And then throughout the free offer that you went through, you probably experienced the aha moment here and there. The best lead magnets, the ones that people are able to scale endlessly with paid ads, are the ones that provide all three: value, results, and aha moments. And that's what you should aim for as well with your free offer. Next, once you have your free offer, you obviously need some sort of opt-in page to get people to sign up for the free offer. So you want to just build a simple opt-in page that houses your free offer, explains all the benefits and reasons why people want to download it. Make sure you speak to the value your offer provides, the benefits of the offer overall, and the outcome or transformation that they're going to go through by taking action on the offer. The best copy is transformative copy. If you can basically show people how they're going to be different after downloading the free offer and going through it, that is what you want your messaging to be about. From there, once you have a free offer and a high converting opt-in page, you need to have some sort of delivery mechanism, some way to deliver the free offer to people once they sign up for it. The delivery mechanism you'll choose will heavily depend on the type of free offer that you make. Like if you do an ebook, you just send it by email. If you're doing a 10-day challenge, you might have a whole membership site that you need to set up to lock people out of it and be able to track their progress, blah, 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 right? So depending on what your free offer is, will determine what the delivery mechanism should be. And honestly, once you think of your free offer, it'll be fairly obvious what the delivery mechanism is going to be. You won't really need to think too much about it. But those are the three things that are included in a front end bridge. It is simply a free niche specific offer, a high converting opt-in page, and a delivery mechanism for the free offer once people sign up for it. Just for reference, there are other ways to structure your front end bridge. Like I said, it can be a sales page, it could be just the ad, it could be just the messaging, it could be a lot of different things. But for the purpose of this video, we're talking about what we just talked about as far as a free offer, a high converting opt-in page, and a delivery mechanism being your front end bridge. That's going to be the most popular. That is going to be the main thing that we build as bridge marketers. And so I just wanted to bring that up, that there are other ways to structure it. Keep your mind open. But for now, we're only talking about those three things. Anyway, from there, step one of the whole process of building a front end bridge is you want to study your offer for gaps and time, money, and stress savers. So whatever you're promoting, there's gaps that you can fill as far as how can I make this offer better or make it easier for people to use this offer? And time, money, stress savers or TMS savers are another core part of bridge marketing. It's a core concept that I teach, and I'll have another video about that. So you want to ask yourself a few questions when you're studying your offer. You want to ask yourself, what is the offer missing first and foremost? You want to think about who your prospect is, what they struggle with, what their dreams and aspirations are, etc. And then you want to figure out what the offer is missing that would fit your prospect's needs and desires. And you want to think of it in an audience specific way, right? That's the key to making this great for a specific audience, is that you can fill in the gaps that are needed to bridge certain audiences into an offer that might not have been there in the first place. Next, you want to ask yourself, how can I help users save time, money, or stress? Ideally, your front end bridge will save your prospect at least two of these items in one, if not all three. You should aim to include all three in your free offer for sure, though. But if you can't, you should do at least two. And if you can only save one with your free offer, don't even bother with it. Next, you want to think, how can you speed up a user's success? Like, what can you do to help your customer speed up their progress with whatever you're trying to help them with? Obviously, they're going to sign up for your free offer to solve some sort of problem that they have, at least in most cases, right? So how can your free offer help speed up that progress of solving whatever problem they have? If you're able to do that, that's what your prospect is going to perceive as most valuable, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for progress or a full-on solution to whatever their problem is. But as long as you get them at least one step closer to solving their problem, they'll find value in that. And that's what the free offer should focus on, right? You don't want to solve their problem completely, especially if you have an offer that solves their problem completely. You just want to help them take steps towards solving that problem and then fully solve that problem by selling them on whatever you're trying to sell them on. So again, if you can find something that will help speed up the user's success with the problem that they're trying to solve, that's going to be your highest performing front end bridge by a country mile. Not in all cases are you going to be able to build a front end bridge that speeds up a user success, but you should try to focus on it as much as possible. Next, step two is just a quick shortcut. You want to think of anything you have that can be repurposed to put into your free offer. For example, I ran a marketing agency for a while and have, hundreds of SOPs, and a lot of these things that I'm teaching from are just the SOPs that I made for my team that I'm then repurposing into lead magnets or free content, what have you. You want to think of anything that you have that can be repurposed. And if you're a content creator, you probably have a lot of stuff that you can repurpose into a lead magnet of some sort, whether it's just taking knowledge from your videos and condensing it into a guide, a written guide, or maybe even turning it into an audio guide, what have you. There's plenty of things, if you think about it, that you can turn into a front end bridge of some sort so that you're not having to build a whole new free offer from scratch. Step three is simply building a list of as many ideas as possible. That's why you want to think of what you have repurposed first, because you want to think of that as your first batch of ideas. But no idea is a bad idea at the end of the day. You want to compile a list of every idea that you could think of, no matter how stupid or cheesy it may seem to you. Don't get stuck by, expert bias as far as you think that something is too simple to be of value to the people that you're trying to offer it to. But a lot of times, as the expert, you think that thing is simple, but it might blow a newbie's mind. So anyway, you'll want a large list of ideas to be able to effectively execute on the next item in this list, which is Combo ideas are the best ideas. Once you have a big list of ideas, try to play around with combining some of your ideas together into a single front end bridge idea. This is where your best ideas will come from and why it's essential to brainstorm a lot of ideas, because you might have, you know, 50 ideas and you can figure out a way to take three smaller ideas and combine them into one big idea. It might be a written guide along with a 3-day challenge and a video. Like there's a way to make it so that you have multiple formats, multiple ways that people can learn and take advantage of the free offer that you're promoting to them. And then lastly, you just want to put yourself in your customer's shoes. That's the main thing. Again, get rid of the expert bias. You're an expert at whatever you do. Sometimes it's hard to take a step back and put yourself in your customer's shoes, but you have to in order to come up with the best front end bridge, to come up with something that they'll love and that will ultimately entice them to purchase your offer, right? That's the main thing. You want to make sure that you are providing them with a free offer that's going to be so valuable, it's going to blow their mind, it's going to make them love you, it's going to make them want to buy something from you just out of the basic principle of reciprocity. They'll feel like they have to reciprocate the value back to you. So the best way of doing that, again, is building a list of as many ideas as possible and then combining those ideas into one big idea and doing it in a way where you come at it from a perspective of being in your customer's shoes rather than doing it with your expert bias. Once you have your whole list of ideas, you want to prioritize your ideas and narrow it down to one or two, because you might have taken, if you have 50 ideas, you might have combined a few of them into, 3 or 4 big ideas. Make sure you narrow it down to one or two. And then if you want to do two, you want to test the two against each other. You want to make both of them and then test them against each other. That way you're not putting all your eggs in one basket and only doing one idea at a time. I really believe you should always launch with 2 different ideas up front, just to make sure that you're not just going to make a mistake on one of them and it's not going to work at all and then you're going to be discouraged. But the second one that you made might have been the right thing and the thing that your audience really wants. And you would have never known that if you didn't test both of them at the same time. Right. So I'm a strong proponent for testing 2 at a time, but at least one obviously is what you're going to need. So prioritize your ideas, narrow it down, and pick the top 1 or 2 and roll with it. Next, you're going to want to choose a format for your front end bridge. You could do a 30-minute training VSL. If you have something to teach that would be best taught through a video training, this is definitely your best bet. You could do an ebook. You can either write your own ebook or you take a Master Resell Rights ebook and rewrite it to make your own. Definitely do not take a Master Resell Rights or private label rights ebook and just use that as your front end bridge without any sort of modifications. You should always be looking to use that sort of stuff as a starting point, as an outline, as something that you're going to add your own proprietary knowledge to. But it is a huge time saver to use something like that as a starting point. You could also do a free community, whether it's on School or in High Level or what have you, or on Circle. Regardless of where you build your community, you can give people access to some sort of free community where you have offer-related knowledge available. Chris Record, who's an instructor in the internet income system, made millions of dollars promoting Shopify by doing a 90-day challenge in a Facebook group where each day he would go live and, just drop knowledge bombs about Shopify, and it was in a structured format in that sense, but behind a gate where people had to actually provide their information to get access to it, right? And that's why free communities are so powerful. Once you get them in there and they see all the interaction from all the other folks, they end up getting excited themselves when they see all the results that other people are getting, all that good stuff. One thing to think about with a free community, though, is it does take a fair amount of management on an ongoing basis to make sure that the group doesn't get out of hand or people aren't saying crazy stuff. So if you don't want that ongoing management at all, then I would suggest using a different format. Another format would be, a done for you tool or resource. You can use any tools or resources that would be seen as valuable by your audience. A big thing that I see going around, and maybe you see it as well, but there's a lot of people selling these static ad templates or, image ad templates that you can edit in Canva. I had seen that offer going around so much that I actually built my library of Canva templates into my offers as well. There's a ton of different things that you could do as far as tools or resources go. You could even do like a Notion planner or some sort of Notion template. It really highly depends on who your audience is and what niche you're in. As long as they would be seen as valuable by your audience, that's really all that matters. Another option is you could do a free masterclass. If your topic is best taught in multiple lessons, you can create a 3 to 5 day masterclass. A lot of times, this really is a great way of doing it for the simple fact that you can essentially lock people out of the 3 to 5 day sequence unless they give you more information. For example, the first day you would just collect name and email. And then if they watch that first day video in full, you could ask them if they want to skip to day 2 without having to wait till tomorrow. And if they do, they just need to answer another question like, how much revenue does their business make in a year? And then you collect that piece of data. And if they skip through the whole masterclass sequence, you could have collected, anywhere from 3 to 5 different pieces of data that you wouldn't have collected otherwise. I love using masterclasses in that way. It does take a bit more setup. It's a bit more complex of a marketing strategy in general, but if you can pull it off, it's fantastic, and it will help you be able to mark these people off as marketing qualified leads, rather than just generating leads and that's it. You could also do the same sort of thing with a free challenge. So, like, challenges should be aimed at getting the user results or helping them have an aha moment as soon as possible. Like a free 3 day challenge to lose 10 pounds would be fantastic. It's not necessarily possible, but anything like that, take my free 14-day challenge to make $1,000 online, or to get your first client, or take my 5 day challenge to write your first email sequence. Whatever it is that these people want to be able to do, put it behind a challenge, and incentivize them to challenge themselves in some way. You can do the same sort of thing if you have, like, let's say a 14-day challenge. If somebody wants to skip through those days and you have that content available, obviously, you would just collect an extra piece of data for them to be able to skip into each day. And that allows people to basically Netflix binge through an entire challenge in a day or two rather than having to wait a whole 14 days. But again, by that time, you've collected so much information on these people that you know exactly who they are. You know exactly who you should be reaching out to, prioritized over the people that you shouldn't be reaching out to. And yeah, overall, it's just a great way of collecting more data through your free offer. Lastly, you can do an email training sequence. Like a masterclass, you can dish out your training over multiple days. I've seen a lot of people do a 30-day training of some sort in an email sequence, and it's basically just a way of getting people to read your email every single day. It does work well, and I mean, I've definitely signed up for them. It's just you need to make sure that you have the time to pull it off because it is a lot of work to set up front. And you should try something else that's a bit easier to set up first to make sure that whatever problem you're trying to solve for your people with your free offer is something that your people actually want and find value in, right? So I would try something like an ebook or a 30-minute training VSL to start. And then if that offer works and that's a problem that people obviously want a solution to, then maybe you build any of the other things like a free community or a free challenge or even a full email training sequence once you know it works and it's a problem that people want solved. And I guess I got a little ahead of myself there, but step 6 is to build, a minimal viable product of your front end bridge. If it works, you can make it even better later. For now, your focus should be on getting your front end bridge set up and launched to the public ASAP. You want to start collecting data, you want to start collecting feedback, you want to start figuring out whether or not that problem that you're trying to solve is something that people want solved. And you'll find that out quickly from the data that you get back. It's that simple. And that's it for building a front end bridge. I'm going to give you some tips from here. I would highly suggest that you use Notion to deliver your front end bridge. Notion is an easy, low cost, and professional way for you to deliver your front end bridge if your format supports being set up in Notion. I've set up a ton of different front end bridges, both for myself and clients in Notion, because it's just an easy way to format information in a way that doesn't look like crap. A lot of people that do ebooks, they format their ebooks in a way that looks like crap, in my opinion. Taking that same information and just putting it inside a Notion cleans it up and presents it to people in a way that they find acceptable and they find as being professional. So if your offer calls for it, I would highly suggest using Notion to deliver your front end bridge. It's the great way of doing it, and I've done it many, many times before. My next tip is you want to keep your front end bridge as simple as possible whatever you do, make sure that it adds value to your offer and that it doesn't confuse people as to what your offer actually is. And by offer, I mean your paid offer. Your front end bridge should basically be walking them towards your paid offer. And so you want your front end bridge to be a free offer of some sort that adds value to your paid offer. If you bring them in with a front end bridge that's completely unrelated to your offer, you'll confuse people as to what your offer actually is. Or when you go to promote that offer to them, they'll be like, why the heck would I need this? This isn't the next step after taking action on this free offer. They'll just get confused and it won't work. So again, just make sure that your front end bridge is as simple as possible and that it adds as much value as possible to your paid offer and gets them taking steps towards it. Next, you want to make sure that your front end bridge is shockingly valuable. Your goal is simply to make your front end bridge so valuable that people get excited about how valuable the paid offer must be. If people wouldn't be willing to pay money for your front end bridge, then it's not valuable enough. It should be something that people would be willing to pay money for without a problem. And that's what's going to make your prospects see the value in your front end bridge and see how working with you or even taking your recommendations in any way is valuable. So make sure your front end bridge is shockingly valuable, and that will get your audience to reciprocate back to you because of it. Just to pound this home, your front end bridge should relate directly to the paid offer, and the paid offer should be the logical next steps after consuming your front end bridge. If it's not, then you did something wrong. Next, you want to make your front end bridge easy to consume. You want as many people to fully consume your front end bridge as possible, so make sure it's easy to access, easy to read, etc. If it's not, you're going to get support tickets about it. And then once you get those support tickets, make sure that you revise your front end bridge accordingly as soon as possible. If it's not easy to consume, people won't consume it. And then if they don't consume it, they won't find any value in it. And if they don't find any value in it, then they won't buy your paid offer. Which is why it's important to make your front end bridge actionable as well. It should be easy for your prospects to take action and see some sort of result or progress after consuming your front end bridge. If people just consume your front end bridge, but they don't take any sort of action with it, they're not going to get any sort of new result that they would need to see the value in your front end bridge. So just make sure that your front end bridge is actionable. You want to make sure that your front end bridge educates on the why and let your offer teach the how. Your front end bridge should essentially educate the audience on something that helps them realize why they would need the offer that you're promoting. But you do not want your front end bridge to educate on the why and the how. You only want it to educate on the why and let your offer teach the how. And then lastly, the offer should be the logical next step. Whenever the prospect finishes consuming your front end bridge, it should be obvious and logical that your offer is the next step in their journey. So make sure that your front end bridge has a call to action at the end of it that gets them to at least consider buying the paid offer. So send them to a sales page, send them to a video sales letter. Doesn't matter, but make sure that at the end of your front end bridge, once people have consumed it and taken action on it, that is when you want to pitch them on your paid offer. So make sure you include a call to action to your paid offer at the end of your front end bridge. And that's it as far as building a front end bridge goes. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing, like this video, comment. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you. If you want to learn more about monetization in general, then I have a full 1 hour long training that's available down in the description below. And lastly, once you actually build your front end bridge, you're going to want to know how to actually generate clicks to your front end bridge. So I'll leave a video up here that'll teach you 6 different tricks on how to generate more clicks to your front end bridge. Other than that, have a great rest of your day.